Coming to Aphyria 3 is an RTS strategy game with 4 distinct factions, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. As we enter a new meta after Operation Sapphire Jackal, I shall be briefly discussing the strongest aspects of each faction and what to focus on if you want to excel in the current environment. Welcome to the Meta Report for April 2023. Starting with the strongest, DAK is undeniably king of 3v3 and 4v4 multiplayer. Why still? Well, it's light armor, but not due to the Caro after its recent nerf. The 8-Rad, from multiple sources I've reached out to, is completely broken. Costing only 40 fuel, it's rather cheap all things considered. It has great survivability, excellent damage against infantry, and can run circles around AT guns. AT guns that take more than 4 shots to bring it down without any interference. Aiding the monster is the Martyr, which is in the same building, requires no additional teching, and is also cheap at only 25 fuel. So basically 8-Rad shut down infantry while Martyrs slaughter vehicles. Bersaglieri are also still prominent with passive sprinting. This allows them to secure positions at the start of a game before anyone else, which is very punishing because of high ground advantages introduced in CoH3. Their speed also ensures little reaction time if they move from one lane to another, limiting counters against them, especially as they rapidly acquire CP unlocks from their respective battle group. While we're speaking of infantry, I'd be amiss if I didn't call out the Panzerpios, which are basically DAK Pathfinders. They're cheap at only 200 manpower, have good abilities, and can be used in mass to great effect, particularly in urban environments. Lastly, keep an eye out for the half-track flame round. It's just great against support weapons, wiping them relatively quickly. All these powerful units and combinations really have allowed DAK to dominate the multiplayer scene, just like their German compatriots. The Wehrmacht right now is mostly buoyed in the meta from singular units more so than its battle groups. While the Luftwaffe battle group is still played to great effect, 8-Rads and Jaeger squads seem to be the new hotness for the faction. Now, I've already explained why the 8-Rad is potent, but the reason Jaeger squad blobs are in style mainly comes down to their anti-vehicle capabilities. Jaegers act like better versions of the released CoH3 Volksgrenadiers with access to a single Panzer track that completely outdamages a bazooka squad while still retaining the ability to fight infantry. In addition, they have smoke grenades, so stopping blobs of them is very difficult considering that they can get past allied MGs. I'd say you can use artillery, but excluding the Bishop, competent allied anti-blob counters are hard to come by, allowing this tactic to flourish. For a direct example, American bazookas do 50 damage per shot, and they have 2 bazookas, limiting their anti-infantry capability, while a single Jaeger Shrek does a whopping 160 damage, allowing the 4 other men in the squad to carry on in an anti-infantry role. As to the units that are still great, the Nebelwerfer and MG42 come to mind, while the lackluster units like the P-Grunt are best avoided for other specialized infantry. But for a faction you cannot avoid if you want to win a game as the Allies, it's the British. AT rifles took a bit of a hit in the last few patches, reducing their anti-infantry capabilities, but when supplemented by the recon package, blobs of sections can still do a lot of work. That work just takes time, which is why they have sadly fallen in potency when compared to their speedier DAK counterparts. Or the Wehrmacht, who has access to potent anti-blob options like the Nebelwerfer, Stug, or Brumbar. I'd also be amiss not to count the DAK Stuka in that. The Bishop has seen a definite increase in usage, and that is a smart tactic when facing German blobs. Grants, Matildas, and Crusaders are still fantastic tanks. The Vickers is an infantry killing machine gun. But with the reduction of loiter potency along with the UKF's slower early game, it's still a hard hill to climb for Brits when fighting a competent, highly aggressive Axis team, and in CoH3's case, those that have the high ground always have an advantage. Finally, we have the USF, which really got the legs chopped out from under them with the last patch. Pathfinders got hit, Shermans got hit, so really, and I mean this honestly, there is no reason to go USF except for a challenge or for fun. Riflemen are still not good with their high tech costs. Bazooka squads still feel weak. Scots, Hellcats, and Whizbangs have stupidly short range. The only thing decent with the faction by the feedback I received is going Special Operations Doctrine for a Weasel and SFF Commandos, or the now less effective Pathfinder strat. Every other tactic for the faction is either too slow, too weak, or just done better by the UKF. So overall, what are the best tactics currently for each faction? Well, if you're playing DAK, use Bersaglieri using the Italian Combined Arms battle group, add in 8-Rads and Martyrs for complete battlefield domination. For the Wehrmacht, grab an MG42, 8-Rads, Martyrs, Jaeger squads, and Nebelwerfers to shut down any play the enemy might throw your way. Meanwhile, as the UKF, keep using infantry sections, Vickers, and Bishops, and their fantastic late game tanks to overcome the odds. Air and Sea isn't as dominant as it once was with the later nerfed, so picking that battle group is no longer a necessity. Finally, in a distant fourth is the USF. Special Operation Doctrine or Pathfinder seem to be the only decent opening available. Shermans aren't terrible and still pack one hell of a punch, but watch out for Jaeger blobs. And that is the current state of the meta in 3v3 and 4v4 multiplayer games. Until the next patch hopefully buffs the Americans, kneecaps the Germans, and maybe doesn't just add a store, I'm Greyshot151, and I'll see you all next time.
Hello everyone, this is Greyshot17, and before y'all go, let me give a special shout out to Patreon supporters Joey G240, Milam, Big Cooch, Aphyria, Ace, Pyro Shark, Tony B95, Epic Pleb. Thank you all for your incredible support in helping me grow my channel and support my channel and everything I do. Thank you, and to the rest of you, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.